Hello and welcome to Travel Beans. I'm Alex and this is Emma, and this is a new episode of Refried Beans.
Refried Beans is where we delve into old footage and talk about all things travel.
In this Refried Beans, we want to wrap up our last 2 months in Turkey.
We have compiled a list of our top 5 things we loved about our time in Turkey and why you should visit.
We really struggled to rank these into a top 5, and if you ask us tomorrow, we'll probably give you a different order. But as things stand today, this is our top 5.
Number 5, historical sites. Before coming to Turkey, I actually had no idea about the amazing historical sites that there were to go and see whilst visiting.
Now that's definitely naivety on our side, because when you think of Turkey, there is a lot of history here, especially with the Roman Empire and the Ottoman Empire.
But I think a lot of British tourists, especially when they think of Turkey, they're thinking of beautiful coastline, lovely beaches. There's more to it than that, guys. One thing that I am really loving about Turkey at the moment is that I feel like a full-on explorer here. There are like ruins everywhere that you just have access to. Most of the time you don't even have to pay to see them, and usually there's no one else around, so you have it completely to yourself. We visited some amazing abandoned Greek villages along the coast, some awesome Lycian rock tombs down in Fethiye.
We also visited Izmir's Agora.
This agora is one of the largest located within a city centre. With 3 floors, it is truly one of a kind.
And Termessos, which led to a huge hike in the mountains.
Also, something we really love about the historical sites here in Turkey is that they are very much intertwined with nature, and we really loved that combination of the greenery alongside the history. Number 4, neighbourhoods of Istanbul.
If you watched our Istanbul series, you are probably sick of hearing about how nice these neighbourhoods are, and specifically the streets.
We are obsessed with the streets.
This is the one last time you're going to hear about them. Oh, those streets.
You can never get bored exploring that city. They're so colourful, they're so picturesque. Any of you Instagram lovers out there, head on over to Istanbul. You will have a field day.
A few of our personal favourites were Kuzgunchuk, specifically for the coloured streets and the food. I'm going to talk about one last time, was the kebab from heaven. Moda, which is a hip, happening, vibrant area on the Asian side.
And Arnavutköy, which is on the European side, which is a very relaxed, chilled out area with some really great little restaurants and cafes.
We were there for 6 weeks and we still feel like there was so much more to explore.
Best of all, it is completely free to just wander around and explore by foot.
You have unlimited access to cats wandering around the street. There's street art, and make sure you try the food in the different areas.
Which leads us on to our next point. Number 3, food. Guys, where do we start with the food? Well, for starters, we haven't got bored of the food in Turkey, and I don't know how that's possible because every other city, country, place that we have visited for such a long period of time, we have always reverted back to our home cooking, but not once in Turkey did we feel the craving for British food. We were loving it.
So if you are a vegetarian or a meat lover, Turkey's got you covered. Every different area of Turkey has its own specific food. Now, if you go to Istanbul, this is probably the best place to be able to try all the different foods from the different areas.
Definitely.
The best meze we had was down in the south. The best meat, personally, I had was in Istanbul.
And desserts. Oh boy, the desserts. They are extremely sweet. These way sweeter, I think, than the desserts we have in England. So for us, it did take some getting used to, but just off the top of my head, the ice cream, unbelievable. The bomba. Oh, the bomba.
Izmir. Chocolate overload. Guys, my tummy hurts. I bought too many bombas.
And don't forget that cheesy kunafe. That was incredible. Another food I have to mention in this video is the Turkish breakfast. This is my favourite breakfast I have tried out of every country I have travelled to. It's simply amazing.
It is perfect because of all the different types of things you can try, and you're nibbling on an olive. The next moment, you've got cheese in your mouth. The next, you're spreading chocolate sauce on some bread. Oh my god, it was perfect.
The combo of salty and sweet, and washing it down with the Turkish tea, and just taking your time and enjoying it. Oh, perfection. Number 2, the Turkish hammam.
We were lucky enough to go and visit a traditional hammam right in the centre of Istanbul.
And when we say the centre, we mean the most perfect location you can imagine. Smack bang in between Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque. Amazing.
I was able to bring the camera and you guys along so you could experience it with us, and it was such an amazing experience.
Especially as Alex, like a lot of guys I know, aren't the biggest fans of spas and getting massages or anything like that, but you actually loved it, and you even said it was like a really manly experience.
I didn't know what to expect, so I went in quite blind, so all of my reactions are very genuine because I just didn't know what was going to happen.
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
And I loved it.
We didn't do much research before, so we weren't sure, like, even the process, like what they were going to do. We didn't know about all the soapy bubbles, we didn't know about the massage, so it was like brand new information.
If you're interested in what the experience was like, check out the video in the link below, but I can highly recommend this, and you should do this anywhere that you go and visit in Turkey.
Especially for me, I think it would be a really nice start to your trip in Turkey after that long travel day to scrub off all the dead skin, have a nice massage, relax and get ready for your time in Turkey. Number 1, the Gullet Cruise. The reason we've put this as number 1 today is probably because it incorporates so many of the things we've already mentioned all into one lovely little package.
You get to try the local foods, you can hang out with the local people on the boat, and you also get to stop at the different spots for nature and the ruins, the ancient sites. It literally combines everything, and then you get the beautiful, ridiculously blue water as well.
I knew the beaches in Turkey were famous, and a lot of people from the UK like to go on holiday in Turkey for that reason, but nothing prepared me for the clarity and the colours of blue that we saw on that boat trip.
Jumping into the water was a favourite pastime of mine. I even got to experience fishing, and as one of the manliest men you're ever going to find, I nailed it.
Manliest men.
I'm not a natural at anything that's kind of manly. If I've got to fix anything, it's staying broke.
or I fix it.
Or Emma will fix it. She's actually surprisingly good at a lot of that. I'm an awkward human just in general anyway, but if you put me around a group of blokes. So my biggest fear is actually catching something, because if we reel something in and they expect me to do anything with it, I don't know if you've ever caught a fish, but they just flap around like crazy. Taking the hook out is the most disgusting thing I could ever imagine.
Another thing about the boat trip is that every day you get to go to a new location and a new place, so every day is different. In between stops, you can relax on the boat, laze around in the sunshine, have a nap, have a chat, or eat some delicious food.
Really, the Gullet Cruise covered everything. It ticked all of the boxes for us. And as full-time travellers, it was so nice to have everything taken care of for us so we could just relax and enjoy the experience.
Also, we'd like to give a final little shout out to the nature and wildlife, especially the tortoise.
So we rented a car and travelled from Antalya to Bodrum, and this was such a great freeing experience. We would also highly recommend it. Bit of a highlight as nature enthusiasts was just walking down the road on a little hike, and then we come across a tortoise crossing the road.
Just minding his own business, wandering around. We're always looking out for wildlife, and this is not something I expected to see.
There is no way that thing is getting away from us.
Yeah, exactly. We can take our sweet, sweet time.
What? This is the weirdest wildlife I've ever seen. There is a tortoise crossing the road.
But that didn't happen once. That must have happened like 5, 10 times we saw these tortoises. We were just as excited every time as the last.
Is it common to see these?
Yeah, because here is his home, homeland.
The novelty never wore off for us, so if you do go to the south, you're likely to see one. But for us, it was such a random but unique experience that really stood out on our trip in Turkey.
So there you have it, guys. Those are our top 5 things that we loved about our time in Turkey.
Turkey has wiggled its way into our best places to visit or to live. And if we weren't on a mission to go and experience all these different things around the world and share them with everyone at home, we could definitely see ourselves settling down there.
It is beautiful, it's interesting, it's unique, and for a UK budget, it's very cost effective.
We have barely scratched the surface of what there is to do in Turkey, and for that reason, we will definitely come back in the future to explore some more.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for future videos.
Leave us a comment. What would you like to do, or where would you like to go in Turkey? And for the last time for our Turkish viewers, thank you very much for watching. See you next time, and beans out!